Today we're discussing 1992's In the Soup, directed by Alexander Rockwell, starring Steve Buscemi and Seymour Cassel. The film's plot is Steve Buscemi is Adolfo Rollo, a broke filmmaker in love with his neighbor Jennifer Beals, and he puts an ad up offering to sell his movie script that he thinks is genius, and he gets a response from Joe, played as Seymour Cassel, who convinces him that he'll raise $250,000 to make the film. Joe Seymour Cassel is a wise guy gangster and does a numerous of oddball-like crimes to raise the money for the film.
Don't! Jesus!
You're in love with me.
How did you get in here?
Who's Angelica? I'm jealous.
How did you know where I lived?
Take it easy, partner. We're gonna have to break through some walls if we're gonna be working together. No secrets, no locked doors. Lie down. That's it. So we're gonna make a motion picture. I've decided I want art to be an important part of my life. When I die, I want to leave something behind me.
Look, I just got in from a night with your brother.
Those guys want to leave marks. Anybody can do that. Just put a hit on a guy, you leave a mark. I want a legacy.
I have principles, you know.
Watch out for those. Principles in women. They'll get you every time.
All I want to do is make my movie.
Why else am I in bed with you?
No, cut it out!
Okay, before we get into spoilers, I wanted to go over the Sundance part of this, which I heard in an interview. It was initially rejected by Sundance, but then at the last minute, a film dropped out, and they contacted Alexander Rockwell to re-entry In the Soup and go full circle. It ended up beating Reservoir Dogs in the Sundance Grand Jury Prize, a film that we all know today is Quentin Tarantino's um, heist film, starring a lot of people with Steve Buscemi in there. And it's kind of a classic now, but at the time was pretty much Tarantino's entry into his magnificent film career. Uh, I appreciate that it won the Sundance Grand Jury Prize. It definitely deserved it as the like indie darling film, and was definitely well deserved. Yeah, so there's a lot here. It's a filmmaker's film. It's shot in black and white. It's a hilarious film. Seymour Cassel stands out, really carries the film. Steve Buscemi's great too, but if Seymour Cassell's not in this as the eccentric, over the top gangster, just living his life carefree, doing as he pleases, we're not really sure. He says he's a producer, but he seems to be a gangster that just does not give a fuck about anything and just goes with the flow of life. And he convinces, he convinces Steve Buscemi's character, Adolfo Rollo, that he's going to make his film. He's going to get his $250,000 and he's going to make the film. When they first meet, he reads his ad in the paper. Joe is his name, Seymour Cassell's character, playing the producer. Adolfo Rollo goes to meet him, and he's just with some like crazy Asian chicks doing cocaine. She comes out to meet Adolfo Rollo, and she's greets him with a kiss on the face. And we can tell immediately like this guy Joe is quite the character. He immediately gives him some money and then pretends that he's gonna shoot him, and he doesn't. He just takes the money and convinces him that he's gonna find a way to get all of the $250,000 for his script, which is called Unconditional Surrender. Um, it's a film shot in black and white all the way through. It's a real filmmaker's film. There's also Stanley Tucci plays Seymour Cassel, Joe's the producer's brother, um, who's good too, Stanley Tucci. Um, yeah, so Adolfo Rollo is this kind of pretentious filmmaker, wannabe filmmaker that has this script, and he's broke. We see him asking his mother for rent money in the beginning of the film, and but he's a film snob, like a lot of us. He's got a Tarkovsky stalker poster, and he drops Tarkovsky and some other obscure art house filmmakers trying to sell the script that his script is like this and going to be completely different. When the whole time Seymour Cassel kind of just wants an entertaining love story, but he goes with it. He humors the kid, so to speak, and it's a hilarious film. I mean, Seymour Cassel really just is absolutely hilarious. Um, and but he kind of strings him along. The guy Joe, the producer Seymour Cassel, kind of strings him along, and they got to do these crazy ways that he gets stringed in to raise the money. Joe dresses up like Santa Claus and steals a Porsche. Then he breaks into a house to get some money also, and then he also he convinces this kid to buy drugs by not even telling him what's going on. He basically just tells him, listen, you're going to meet a midget and a gorilla, and all you got to do is say, I'm Joe from Kokomo, or some phrase like that. And he ends up getting like heroin or coke or something, a bunch of it. He doesn't even get the money. Then they got to end up selling it, which they never do. Um, so Joe gives him the runaround this whole time. He's just trying to make his movie, but it's a feel good filmmaker's film that's hilarious from start to finish. An underrated gem, and he's this whole time he's also in love with Jennifer Beals character, who's the Dominican neighbor who he promises that she's going to be the star of his movie, but she really doesn't even buy it the whole time. But somehow Seymour Cassel kind of gets her a little bit more interested because he's just so crazy and outgoing. And yeah, man, I won't go too in depth with any more spoilers of the film, but it's a underrated gem of a film. Um, Gina Rollins gave a quote. Seymour Cassel gives a great comic performance. He absolutely sparkles in this film. They also did a film where Seymour Cassel plays a similar character, uh, just an eccentric guy that's magnetic to watch. And a Cassavetes film, Minion Kowinski. I'm probably butchering that name, um, but I just remember Seymour Cassel also on that being great. So yeah, In the Soup is an underrated film that I think everybody should check out. Um, I love how the ending is basically them doing a complete 360, and um, they're on the beach and they have a little scuffle before where a gun goes off, and the Joe character kind of just plays it off. But Steve Buscemi kind of has this enlightening moment to get away from his kind of pretentious script that, hey, we should just make a movie about us. We should just this should be the movie. And the film ends with Joe actually shot himself, but leaving you with make it a love story, kid. Have a clean slate and make it a love story. So, In the Soup, Sundance Grand Jury Prize winner over Reservoir Dogs, a film that I think more people should check out. There's also a Jim Jarmusch cameo. Um, Yeah, those are my thoughts on In the Soup. Please check it out. 1992, In the Soup.
Maybe you better take me home.
Oh, you don't feel like going dancing anymore?
No, I guess not.
Hey, you want to dance here? Watch these feet. I'll dance my ass off. What do you want, the rumba? What do you want, the conga? Chica, 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 cha. Chica, 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 cha. Or I could do maybe a little ballet.
Joe had this way of making people feel important, even though you knew he was taking you for a ride. But that night I would have ridden with him anywhere. He was magic. There was nothing he couldn't handle. The only thing you can do was sit back and see what would happen next.